TV? They see you over there. Look at you all 4 months old and stuff. Huh? Yeah? Yeah, exactly. It's TTC. Go Seahawks. Yeah. What's going on, TTC? The New Rob Report. Back with the 2014 season. It's been a long off season. We're a little more than halfway through it now. OTAs just got finished. We got a mini camp next week, and then training camp not too far down the road from there. So football season is quickly making its way back into our world. So it hasn't been a whole lot of TTC stuff going on that I've noticed. I've seen a few videos here and there. I haven't seen too many videos from any of the heavy hitters, but figured I'll go ahead and put my little one on. There's a couple of key moves this off season. There's a couple of them to note. Those 40-winers went and picked up Stevie Johnson from Buffalo. I'm assuming in an attempt to be able to beat Seattle. The only reason Frisco does anything right now is an attempt to catch up to us. So they got Stevie Johnson as if they're going to be able to beat the Legion of Boom by adding Stevie Johnson. Highly unlikely. Darren Sproles went to Philadelphia. Jonathan Martin ended up in San Francisco. Go figure. Blaine Gabbert went to Frisco. So the Seahawks were, they did what was to be expected in the draft. We picked up a good wide receiver in Paul Richardson from Colorado, I believe, who's slated to be pretty good. He's a fast guy. He's a guy who's going to be able to stretch the field for us. We've got a lot of speed on offense now. Something that Seattle hasn't had a lot of, especially in the receiving core in recent years. Now we have a whole lot of. We're fast and we're quick in the receiving core now. We've always had a lot of possession receivers and then a big guy. Possession receivers and a big guy, but never anyone who's been a real speedy deep threat since like Joey Galloway. Joey Galloway was the last speed demon that we had, and he was good for us. Now we got Percy. Now we got Paul Richardson. We still got Ricardo Lockett, assuming he makes the team. Doug Baldwin, obviously a great catch for us. We showed him that by giving him this big contract. So we're set at that wide receiver position. Hardly able to be called pedestrian from this point forward. Talking to you, Chris Carter. Yeah, Seattle set the wide receiver spot. But I learned a lot, this year. I learned a lot this offseason. I like to go back and figure out what I learned. And I learned a few things during this offseason. What did we learn this offseason? I learned that the 49ers are punch drunk in love with Colin Kaepernick, signing him to that ridiculous contract. What is it, like $60-something million guaranteed, or $120 or something? It's some ridiculous contract for Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick is a dynamic player. I say that he's not going to get any better than he already is. If anything, he's going to regress. If you let him, he will get you. But Seattle has shown that he's definitely beatable. He's definitely beatable. And even in the game where Frisco beat us in Frisco last season, Kaepernick didn't beat us. Okay, especially it wasn't anything special that Kaepernick did. Frank Gore busted a long run at the end of the game, and they won, by a small amount. So Seattle has Colin Kaepernick's number. Is he worth all that money? I guess we will soon find out. I learned that Roger Goodell can do no right in this league. It doesn't matter what he does. It won't matter what he does. He's going to be on somebody's bad list. With the rule changes again, I went into it with a couple of folks about the Jimmy Graham rule. I hate to go even back into it again, but I understand the rule. And I'm beating a dead horse here because I've said it in plain English before, but no one seems to understand me when I say it. I get that the game is being made less fun, less this, less that. Taking away this from the game, taking away that from the game. But the bottom line is, I understand the rule. I got an onslaught of different names thrown at me for my Jimmy Graham rule video, but I get it. Every rule that is made is reactive. Okay, it's never preemptive. Out of all the rules, if I was gonna say if I was gonna have to pick which rules I agreed with more or less out of all the rules that everybody hates, I think the Jimmy Graham rule is probably one of the better rules. Personally, personally, that's just me. Get mad about it, go fuck yourself. But the what's more ridiculous than the ridiculous Jimmy Graham rule is for any one player to delay a game, okay, for 25 minutes over a touchdown celebration. That's it. That's my only argument, and I don't think there's any other argument necessary. Anyone who argue against that statement is just lacking intelligence in my book. For any one player to be able to delay a game for 25 minutes is redonkulous. So if you want to argue that, I'm not trying to hear it. You obviously are irrational. Irrational people. My own 12th man, irrational. Okay? When Golden Tate took the money and went to Detroit, I can't tell you how many negative comments I saw on Facebook, Twitter, and so forth about Golden Tate from my own 12th man, and that bothered me because it was completely ridiculous. Golden Tate just took the money because Seattle was not paying him what he felt he was worth. He wasn't asking Seattle for no large amount of money, no crazy amount of money, and he said he would take the hometown discount. But you still got to make the dude feel like he's worth something to you, and Seattle didn't do that, and because he wasn't. The Seattle front office decided that Golden Tate was more or less expendable. So why would he stay if he's expendable? They weren't. The offer that they offered him was laughable, according to him. He said he would take a hometown discount, but he didn't say he was going to stay for pocket change. So why 12th man? Why we don't get that? I don't understand. But it's irrational to think otherwise. Okay? Of course he would take the money and go somewhere else. He's got a family and his life to think about. So don't hate Golden Tate. Golden Tate, do your thing. I wish you the best of luck as long as you're not beating the Seahawks. We got Michael Bennett back. That's cool. Sidney Rice is a Seahawk still, which is interesting. He got released and they brought him back, and actually I can understand that. We have a backup plan, so sure, have him on the roster. Jermaine Kearse has been every bit as good, if not better, as Sidney Rice. In minimal playing time, so we're okay with that. Sure, we all saw Richard Sherman got the Madden cover, so he's going to be on the cover of Madden 15, which is cool. I think it was inevitable that Richard Sherman was going to win the cover vote because there's so many haters out there. He was going to win because he has so many haters. For all the votes he got for people who love him, he probably got just as many, if not more, for the folks who hate him because they want to see him fall to the Madden curse. I put one up on a picture up on Facebook, a picture of Jermaine Kearse. So this is the only curse the Seahawks are going to have to worry about this year. Even Coach Ron Rivera, Carolina Panthers, came out and said openly that he voted for Richard Sherman and not Cam Newton. Hey, he's the best. And to talk about whether Richard Sherman is the best or not, I mean, come on. I mean, the whole conversation is stupid anyway. The player named Richard Sherman, okay, number 25, Seattle Seahawks, has been the best cornerback statistically in the NFL since he's been a starter. Bottom line. Now, people want to make up excuses. Oh, because he's got a great defense surrounding him. He's got a great linebacking core. He's got help over the top. Man, come on. If, why? Who gives a fuck? The numbers are what we're talking about here. Okay? You compare him to Patrick Peterson. People say Patrick Peterson's a better corner because he guards the number one receiver the whole game and shadows him. Okay, so Patrick Peterson takes away one guy. Richard Sherman takes away one whole side of a field. I say taking away a whole side of a field is more effective because you can game plan on the other side of the field for when that number one receiver is over there. I don't see why there's such a big argument about it. Why people just want to hate for hate's sake. Okay, the guy is the shit. He's the beast mode of our defense, right? He makes the plays. The ball goes up and it comes down in his hands, or just doesn't go up in his direction at all. That's basically how it works with Richard Sherman. That's basically how it works. Now I say it like this. I told a QB Willie B. We had a bet over Facebook. I hope he holds true to it. Um, that it's been 2 years now that Richard Sherman's been the best corner in the league. The element of surprise is over. Okay, the element of surprise is over. Now, remember a guy named Antonio Cromartie, San Diego Chargers. Okay, 1 year he had I don't know how many interceptions. He had like he blew the whole rest of the league out with interceptions. He intercepted like a whole bunch of balls. I don't remember how many he had, but a lot, like 11 or 12 or I don't know, a lot. And already he was the best corner in the league. And it wasn't but the very next season we learned that Antonio Cromartie wasn't really actually all that good at all. Okay, he was exposed very quickly. He had one good season, and that was it. Sherman now has kept it consistent for 2 straight seasons. I tell QB Willie B, if with the fact that Richard Sherman, okay, is now known, he did it 1 year, okay, give him 1 year as a fluke. Okay, his second year, he done it again. I call that academic. Now, going to this next year, okay, throw everything else out. If Richard Sherman statistically rates as a top 5 corner in the league, bottom line, he's the best corner in the league. There's no more argument. They knew the first year when he led, but we'll give him as a fluke. The second year, okay, this last year, he did it again, okay? And they were already staying away from him. Okay, so now this year coming up, give these offenses another out. Okay, now here we go. Are you going to let Richard Sherman kill you again for the 3rd year in a row? So you have to at least assume that they're going to just not throw at him. They already don't throw at him. And he still led the league in interceptions. He still led the league in quarterback passer rating against him. So if he ends up a top 5 corner in the league again this season, there's no question he's the best corner in the league. That's the way I see it. Not even Deion Sanders. Okay, Richard Sherman led the league in picks, and he was the least thrown to. Not even Deion Sanders was able to do that ever in his career. Never in any one season did Deion Sanders lead the league in interceptions while being the least thrown to. Never happened. And it's no debate. There's no debate. And please, anyone who wants to debate whether Deion Sanders is the best corner ever to play the game, don't talk to me about Darrell Green or Rod Woodson or anybody else. Okay, there's been some great guys. Don't talk to me about Aeneas Williams. None of those guys. Okay, Deion Sanders is the best cornerback. Deion Sanders is one of the best athletes, period, to ever play the game. Deion Sanders is the best corner ever. We may never get another corner like Deion. It's no conversation at all whether Deion is the best corner ever to play the position. And not even Deion was able to lead the league in interceptions while being thrown at the least. That just means that every time the ball goes up in Sherman's direction, it comes down in his hands. Show me when Patrick Peterson does that. Show me when your boy Darrelle Revis does that. Show me when anybody else does that. And then we can talk. But until then, just look at the numbers. And keep your mouth shut, because the bottom line is he is. He is. Until he's not, he is. So I'm fairly excited for the season coming up here. It's definitely nice to be the champion. It's nice to be the big man on top looking down at the rest, because everybody is coming to get you. The league made that glaringly obvious when the schedules were released. We got, I guess technically we don't have the hardest schedule per the league, but we definitely don't have an easy schedule. When we open up Green Bay, San Diego, and Denver, we bye week 4. We got an early bye even. So we got an early bye. I mean, all things are against us, and I guess it's supposed to be like that when you're the champion. You know, when you just won the Super Bowl, it's supposed to be hard for you the next year. So I get that, but it's all bad. Okay, we got challenges early and we got challenges late. So we open up Green Bay, San Diego, and Denver, and then we have the early bye week 4. So the first week you can have a bye, we have a bye. We got to do the Niners twice in 3 weeks. I mean, that's they're making it tough on us. 6 of the last 7 teams that we played this season, the 6 of our final 7 games, are against teams that won 10 or more games. So talk about a late fucking challenge. And why did we get shafted on Monday Night Football or nationally televised games for nationally televised home games? That's kind of sad. I guess the reason is that the league decided that we're just too damn good at home. This is what I read. I'm not making this up myself. They decided that we're too good at home to put us on prime time in Seattle. We got a few prime time games this year, but they're all on the road. We got Green Bay week 1. That's the one prime time game that we have in Seattle. Now we have 3 other prime time games. We got the Redskins Monday night. We got the Niners Sunday night. We got the Cardinals Sunday night. But they're all on the road. And the reason that the league did this is because the league wants to see Seattle on prime time. The world wants to see, but they don't want to see them at home because we're too good. We blow teams out when we're at the clink, and because the games are not competitive, they feel they lose ratings because of that. Our level of play at home actually has screwed ourselves out of primetime games in Seattle. But hey, whatever, I'll take it. Now for the thing that everybody's talking about now, Marshawn Lynch. Now, I am going to go ahead and I'm going to assume that Marshawn Lynch is just doing Marshawn Lynch's thing here. Marshawn Lynch is not an OTAs kind of guy, okay? He's not going to show up for OTAs. He doesn't need to. He's a Super Bowl winner. He's a all-pro, first-team all-pro. He's a Pro Bowl guy, and he does that without OTAs. So the fact that he didn't show up for OTAs, I don't think is a big problem. Now, all this talk about him talking about, oh, he might retire, he wants a new contract. I don't know anything is gospel, okay? But I tell you this. We signed Marshawn to the big contract a couple years ago with the expectation that he was going to do exactly what he did, okay? It isn't like we paid him like a top 5 running back. And that's what he's been, a top 5 runner, maybe even top 3. But he's definitely been a top 5 running back. Okay, all things considered, you can't. I'm not talking about just yards, just touchdowns, because he hasn't led the league in touchdowns, but he's been up there in rushing yards since he signed his contract. But the point is, Marshawn Lynch, I don't know what the plan is, okay, but if you're listening, you signed the contract, bro, and you're paid no less than like a top 5 back in this league. Play out your contract. Okay, play out your contract. You signed the paper, bro. It isn't like you broke records that'll never be set again. You did exactly what we expected you to do, and we paid you to do those things. So play out your contract. I hope that the whole thing is. I hope all this, talk about him talking about retiring and holding out for a better contract and all that kind of stuff. I hope it's all just hearsay. I hope it doesn't really happen. Because I don't appreciate players that change, that flip the script like that. And you know what? We have a backup plan for Marshawn Lynch too. Christine Michael is poised to be a high performing player in this offense. Robert Turbin has already shown that he's got the skills. So I hope that Marshawn Lynch is just doing what he normally does and just not showing up to the OTAs. Minicamp is next week. Hopefully he shows up there and doesn't have to take that $70,000 fine. And when training camp starts, hopefully we just continue on where we left off and go repeat. But if he's going to act an ass, hey, let him be an ass. Looking forward to the hate weeks coming up. Looking forward to hearing from the voice, the motherfucking voice. That right. I'm looking forward to hearing from everybody, man. This is going to be a good season. And yeah, just can't wait to get it going. And man, that's it. That's my little video here. I'll see you guys probably in a few weeks when we get closer to the season. And hey, fuck the 49ers. Go Hawks.